Shalom, my name is Vic Dotra, and I'm a Senior Vice President of Engineering here at Google. Welcome to Google Developer Days here in Tel Aviv. You know, our Israel Research and Development Center plays a very large role in building global products and spearheading innovation for Google. Products such as autocomplete, insights for search, Google Analytics, and even Gmail. Israel is truly the startup nation, and we hope that this conference will truly inspire you, excite you, and feed your passion for innovation. So on behalf of Google, please accept a very warm welcome and enjoy the conference.
האינטרנט משתנה כל הזמן, והדרך שבה אנחנו גולשים גם היא משתנה. המקור לשינוי הזה הוא אתם. מפתחים ברחבי כל העולם המשתמשים בכלים שלנו כדי ליצור דברים חדשים. עם כל כך הרבה כלים, השמיים הם הגבול. אבל כל זה לא יכול היה להתקיים בלעדיכם, ובלי הרעיונות שלכם. אנחנו רוצים להכיר אתכם טוב יותר. אז יצרנו מרחב חדש, במיוחד לזה, כדי לשמוע מכם. אנחנו רוצים לשמוע מה מעורר בכם השראה כמפתחים, ואיך אנחנו יכולים לעזור לכם. כאן תוכלו להקליט סרטון, לשתף איתנו סיפורים ועוד. ספרו לנו מה זה אומר מבחינתכם להיות מפתחים של גוגל, ותוכלו לדבר איתנו באופן אישי באירועי מפתחים של גוגל ברחבי העולם, כדי שנוכל ללמוד איך לתמוך בכם טוב יותר. ודרך אגב, גם התחלנו להקים אתר חדש למפתחים של גוגל. לא רק קוד, אלא גם קהילה, חדשות, כלים ומשאבים אחרים. ועוגה. כמו כל פרויקט אחר בקוד פתוח, זהו תהליך שהולך ומתפתח. בעזרתכם, זה יכול להיות נהדר. developers.google.com/stories. השינוי חשוב לאינטרנט. עזרו לנו להמשיך ולשנות אותו ביחד.
ברוכים הבאים לגוגל Developer Day. אנחנו מאוד שמחים שבאתם היום. גוגל Developer Day הוא אירוע מתרחש ב8 ערים מסביב לעולם כל שנה, וזו הפעם השנייה שאנחנו מארחים אותו בישראל. באירוע היום נרשמו יותר מ2,000 מפתחים. כל הכבוד לכם. לא היינו יכולים להיות כאן בלעדיכם, בלי קבוצות ה-GTAG, ה-Google Technology User Group, ומפתחי האנדרואיד שלנו. בהם יותר מ700 מפתחים פעילים. אם גם אתם רוצים לקחת חלק בפעילות הזאת, תפגשו את מנהלי יש לנו כאן את החבר'ה של ה-GTAG, שירימו ידיים, שימחאו כפיים. לכו תפגשו אותם ברחבת ה-GTAG מול ה-Innovation Center שלנו. שמי אמיר שוואט, ואני מנהל קשרי מפתחים בגוגל בישראל. יש לנו ארץ נהדרת, מלאה בחדשנות. ואני רוצה לתת לכם 2 דוגמאות. לפני 3 חודשים השקנו אתגר שנקרא Android Accessory Development Kit, או ADK. ה-ADK מאפשר לאנדרואיד לשלוט על רכיבים דרך ממשק ה-USB. הרעיונות שקיבלנו היו מדהימים. 2 חבר'ה, תומר וולר ויוסי סורין, הציעו לזרוק אנדרואיד ממטוס, לתת לו לפתוח מצנח, ועל ידי ה-GPS וה-ADK לנווט למקום ספציפי. בואו נראה את הסרטון. אם אתם רוצים לראות את הפרדרויד הזה, יחד עם הצוות הנפלא שלו, לכו לאזור החדשנות שלנו ברחבה בחוץ. צוות נוסף, חבר'ה בשם שירון פז, צביקה מרקפלד, אולג אימינוב ותומר דניאל, בנו כפפה שמאפשרת לאנדרואיד להבין שפת סימנים. בואו נראה את הסרטון.
Hello, we are happy to introduce the Show and Tell glove, which translates sign language and gestures into written text. Enjoy.
A little bit Arduino samples flex sensors, accelerometer and gyro into the ADK board, which relays that information to Android, translating hand movements into text.
Initially, the glove is calibrated to eliminate the variance between different hands. Then comes training, a one-time process during which the hand gestures are read by the ADK, sent to the Android, and fed into the neural network. Let's see it in action.
Magic glove is ready now. Excellent. See you later.
אני אישית חושב שזאת דוגמה נפלאה לדרך שבה טכנולוגיה יכול לעזור לאנשים עם נגישות. יש לנו הרצאה נוספת מעניינת מאוד בקשר לאיך מנגישים אתרי אינטרנט לאנשים עם בעיות נגישות, ואני ממליץ לכם מאוד לגשת אליה. אני רוצה להודות לשופטים ששפטו באתגר ה-ADK, לרפאל מזרחי, אמנון דקל ומיכאל וקולנקו. לגוגל יש מרכז פיתוח מאוד גדול בארץ, ותוכנית חדשנית לעבוד עם סטארט-אפים בשנה הקרובה. כדי לדבר על הנושא הזה, אני מתכבד להזמין את פרופסור יוסי מתיאס, מנכ"ל מחקר הפיתוח של גוגל בישראל.
תודה לכולכם שהגעתם, בוקר טוב. זה אולם די מלא. לפני 5 שנים, נובמבר 2006, הכרזנו על הקמת מרכזי מחקר ופיתוח בחיפה ובתל אביב. היעדים האסטרטגיים שלנו היו להקים ולפתח את המרכזים, לפתח מוצרים וטכנולוגיות גלובליים, ולעבוד עם אוניברסיטאות ועם קהיליית המפתחים. בתוך 5 שנים הקמנו את המרכזים, איחדנו אותם למרכז אסטרטגי, אחד בעל הגידול המשמעותיים ביותר, וכעת אנחנו עם למעלה מ-200 מהנדסים ומדענים במשרדים בחיפה ובתל אביב ובגידול. הצוותים מוליכים פרויקטים אסטרטגיים בתחומים של חיפוש, אנליטיקס, תקשורת, תשתיות תקשורת, אפליקציות, סושיאל, וגם מחקרים בתחומים של אוקשנס ונושאים אחרים. פרויקטים שאולי שמעתם עליהם, אוטו-קומפליט, יוטיוב אנוטיישנס, גוגל טרנדס, אינסייטס פור סרצ' ועוד ועוד. חלקם אתם יכולים לראות בתצוגה היום. יש בהם שילוב של עומק טכנולוגי ומדעי, חדשנות והשפעה גדולה על מספר עצום של אנשים ועסקים ברחבי העולם. בכל אחד מהתחומים האלה, ההזדמנויות לחדשנות ולפיתוחים חדשים עצומות, והצוותים עובדים בחזית הטכנולוגית. אנו נהנים מהכישרון של המהנדס הישראלי. יש לנו גם פרויקטים מיוחדים, שאני גאה בהם בפרט. לפני מספר שנים התחיל מהנדס, אייל, ראיתי אותו יושב שם, במסגרת פרויקט של 20% שלו, שיתוף פעולה עם יד ושם להנגשת התכנים החשובים שלהם. לפני כשנה העלינו לאינטרנט, לענן, את ארכיון התמונות של יד ושם עם למעלה מ-130,000 תמונות. אפשרנו לכל משתמש לחפש בכל תמונה, להוסיף מידע שקשור להם, ובתוך שבועות ספורים נתקבלו אלפי נתונים חדשים על אנשים ואירועים מצולמים, ואפילו מקרים של גילוי קרובי משפחה דרך אותם צילומים. תופעה מצמררת של crowdsourcing במיטבו. לא עצרנו כאן. ראיתם אולי לאחרונה כיצד הבאנו את המגילות הגנוזות לאינטרנט. כיצד אפשרנו לחפש ולשתף כל אחד מלמעלה מ1,000 הפסוקים של ספר ישעיהו, כפי שנכתבו למעלה מ2000 שנה. אפשרנו לכל אחד בעולם לראות דרך האינטרנט ברזולוציה גבוהה פסוקים כמו וגר זאב עם כבש, או וכיתתו חרבותם לעתים, בטקסט עתיק שעד לאחרונה היה צריך להגיע אל המוזיאון כדי לראותו. כעת הפכנו את היוזמה הזאת למשהו הרבה יותר גדול, חלק מפרויקט רחב ביותר, שמטרתו לאפשר לכל ארכיון היסטורי ותרבותי להפך זמין באינטרנט. בנוסף לפעילות המחקר והפיתוח של המרכז הישראלי, אנחנו עובדים באינטנסיביות עם הקהילה שבה אנחנו חיים. שיתופי פעולה אקדמיים כוללים מחקרים בתחומים שונים, כולל מחקר נרחב בתחום של יסודות כלכלת האינטרנט. יש לנו כיתות שבהן אנחנו מלמדים סטודנטים לבוא עם רעיונות ולהפעיל טכנולוגיות ענן פתוחות ולהפוך אותם למוצרים תוך שבועות ספורים. אני בטוח שחלק מהם יזינו את הסטארט-אפים העתידיים בזמן הקרוב. פעילות חינוכיות כוללות יוזמה של 2 מהנדסות המעודדת נערות בתיכון לבחור בלימודי מדעים וטכנולוגיה. בתוך כשנתיים ניתן לראות תוצאות מרשימות בקרב למעלה מ2,000 התלמידות שהשתתפו כבר בתוכנית. אנו מעוניינים במיוחד בשיתופי פעולה ועבודה קרובה עם קהילת המפתחים, איתכם. קהילת המפתחים בישראל היא חדשנית ותוססת ובעלת פוטנציאל ליזום ולייצר עוד הרבה פיתוחים פורצי דרך. אנו יודעים שרעיונות חדשים ופיתוחים מהפכניים יכולים לבוא מכל אחד. ופלטפורמות פתוחות מאפשרות לעשות זאת היום יותר מאי פעם. אנחנו מחפשים כל הזמן דרכים חדשות לתמוך בקהילת המפתחים. אני גאה בזאת להכריז כאן שבשנה הבאה אנו נפתח חממה טכנולוגית במשרדנו החדש בתל אביב. נציע לסטארט-אפים בשלב טרום השקעה שלהם מקום לעבוד, הנחיה וליווי בנושאים טכניים, מוצרים ועסקיים. החממה מתוכננת להיכנס לפעילות בחודש אוגוסט 2012 ותתפרס על פני קומה שלמה הסמוכה למשרדי גוגל העתידיים במגדל אלקטרה במרכז תל אביב. הבלוק השלישי למעלה הוא רובו משרדי גוגל והקומה שם תהיה אחת מהם. בשלב ראשון מתוכנן הפרויקט לארח כ-20 סטארט-אפים, כ-80 איש לתקופה של מספר חודשים. בתור תקופה זו ייכנסו למתחם החממה סטארט-אפים חדשים אשר יחליפו את הקודמים. החממה תהיה פתוחה לסטארט-אפים בתחומים שונים עם דגש על טכנולוגיות פתוחות. וגוגל תשאף לצרף יזמים ממגזרים שונים, כולל אלו שאינם זוכים לייצוג וחשיפה בענף הטכנולוגיה הישראלי כיום. הקמנו צוות שיוליך את החממה ופרויקטים נוספים של מפתחים וסטארט-אפים. אני שמח להציג את הצוות. את אמיר כבר פגשתם. כמו כן יהיו בצוות אייל מילר, איש New Business Development, וטל שריג, Development Marketing, שגם עזרה להרים את האירוע הזה. מחיאות כפיים לצוות. אנחנו נמסור עוד פרטים בהמשך לגבי איך נרשמים והכל, אבל הצוות יהיה כאן כל היום וגם יקיים, ואתם מוזמנים לפנות אליהם בשאלות. פרויקט זה נולד מתוך רצון לעודד יזמות ולאפשר תמיכה וליווי מתאימים בעיתוי שבו לעתים קרובות הם יכולים להועיל ביותר. החממה היא חלק מפעילות גוגל להעמיק את קשריה עם קהילת המפתחים, ואנו מצפים בכיליון עיניים לתחילת הפעלתה. מה איתכם? אני רוצה כעת להציג את המרצה הבא שייתן את ההרצאה המרכזית, ברשותכם אני אעבור לאנגלית. Before introducing the keynote speaker, I'd like to thank you again for coming today, and also extend special thanks to the organizers of this event, and to the speakers who came from all over the world, including from Mountain View, Seattle, London, Munich, Zurich, Tokyo, and Tel Aviv. So, a hand to everybody. Thank you very much. Now to our keynote speaker. One of the hottest topics that I'm sure many of you are interested in is social, and obviously as developers, in particular in social platforms. So it's with great pleasure that to have here one of the leads of social team at Google to kicking off today's keynote. I'd like to introduce James Whitaker, Software Engineering Director in Google Plus platform. Thank you very much.
Well, welcome to the part of the keynote that will not be in Hebrew. You know what they say, if you speak 3 languages, they call you trilingual. If you speak 2 languages, they call you bilingual. And if you only speak 1 language, they call you an American. And that's what I am. I'm an engineering director from Seattle. Right now, I'm working on the Google Plus platform. Before, I was working on Chrome and Chrome operating system. An engineering director is someone who runs engineering teams. So I have software engineers who report to me. We work on generally APIs and tools. Many of the tools that we work on, we open source. Now, I'm not going to be the only one taking this stage for the keynote. We also have lots of people dressed fashionably, just like me. They're all copycats. We're going to be bringing up 3 developer advocates to do demos for you today. And developer advocates are it's an interesting form of Googler. They are software developers. They can code, and they can also explain their code, which is really a much more rare skill than actually writing it in the first place. So you're going to be seeing several of these creatures called developer advocates up here with me today. Google Developer Days is about the web, it's about mobile, and it's about social. And really, all of these things began, this whole story began sometime around 1990 when Tim Berners-Lee invented the internet. Al Gore, turns out, didn't really invent the internet. Tim Berners-Lee did. Now, in 1990, just a show of hands, how many people were online in 1990? Meaning maybe you had an email address. Email addresses in 1990? Not bad. I had an email address in 1988, but I had no one to email. Everyone that I knew who had an email address sat within 5 yards of my desk, and email was absolutely the worst way to communicate with them. Mobile phones weren't very popular. How many people had mobile phones in 1990? All right, wait, let's just check here. How many people were born before 1990? Okay, all right, just checking. We got the right audience here. Now, things began to progress rather slowly at the beginning of the internet. And in the early 90s, we had a very static web. We had information that was available on one computer that was available to people who had other computers. And really, the killer app during this time wasn't some awesome web app. It was a browser. If you tried to browse the web back in the really early 90s, you were doing it from the blinking cursor of a Unix command prompt, right? Not so easy. Now, during this time, developers basically had 2 tools. They had a text editor, and they had a markup language, and that was it. And this is you guys. You all are the developers I'm talking about here. You did some amazing things with those 2 tools. You pushed the limits of what those 2 tools are capable of. And the web moved forward because of that. We went away from this static web to what we call the scripted web. And we saw a merging of the client-side computing and web, HTML stuff during this time. The client was used to make it more powerful. We had things like scripting, and we had things like forms, and we could now not only display information, but we could take input, and we could produce output, and we could run validation scripts on the client. And things really started to move faster now. It was a much more rich experience that developers like you were able to give to their audience. Now, if we're talking about the mid-90s, how many people were online in the mid-90s? All right, now we're getting a lot more people. You see how your customers are growing here? Every year we're adding customers. Every year we're adding capabilities. Every year we're adding new web apps. And, of course, we saw the potential with the web applications that you all were building to make money, to monetize what we're doing, and to build businesses. We call this the enterprise web in the late 90s. This is the time of eBays and Amazons and websites where businesses were run. For the first time, we had words like brick and mortar. We never talked about brick and mortar stores before this because they were all brick and mortar stores. Now they're not. They're completely online, and the web really began to take off. Now, it wasn't, this is about the time where, when you look back in retrospect, you're talking about the post-PC era really beginning, where the work that we were doing on the client to make our web applications richer was beginning to stop. We were doing more and more work inside the browser. The desktops and the laptops and machines that weren't very portable were being replaced by machines that we could fit in our pocket. And web applications that sat on those machines and worked with information on the web began to be the way that people consumed information. And this was the era of web apps. This is the era of maps and the applications that we now take for granted, which were really cool back in these days. We go a little bit further into the future that we're currently in, and things have changed again. Mobile's completely taken over. More people access the internet through their handheld devices than through their desktop machines. The web isn't something that you use at work from 9 o'clock, well, if we're in Israel, I guess it's more like 10 o'clock maybe, 10:30-ish. I like this culture. We're accessing the internet now 24 hours a day. People are on it all the time. It's work, it's play, it's entertainment, it's everything that we want to do. So what's next? Now, this is it. This is all the past I'm going to talk about. This is all the past we're going to talk about at Google Developer Day in Israel. We're going to focus on the future now, because what's next is the thing that I think you all are the most interested in. What technologies are coming to go past this? Because now we're not only in a post-PC era, we may be in a post-web era, where the web is just the Wild West where no one wants to go. Because now there's something bigger and better, right? There's cloud that makes the web sensible, that makes the web easy. And there's mobile, which puts the web in your pocket. It's just as easy to surf the web in a forest as it is in some downtown metropolitan area. It literally is ubiquitous. And not only that, with social, we add the user to this equation. It's not just a machine that allows us to connect to a bunch of information in the web through an application. It's the user as well, because our machines are now capable of knowing who we are, what we're interested in, who we're connected to. It's going to be an entirely new era of applications. Mobile and the web tied together with the fabric of social. So that's what Google Developer Days are about. And after this keynote, we're going to break this room, literally this room, into 4 areas. One for social, one for Chrome, one for Android, and one for cloud. And we're going to talk to you in detail about some of the stuff I'm going to introduce here. So what are you guys going to do with this? We're going to show you everything we've got. We are going to make announcements today that we've never made before. We're going to be showing you technologies today that we've not shown anybody before. But we're not the most important part of this. You all are. We are going to show you technologies that we can't wait to see what you do with. The expo floor over here, and even out by the breakfast area, there's booths of some really cool applications. Google didn't build these applications. You all built these applications. And we can't wait to see what you're going to do with the stuff that we're going to show you today. So let's begin with Android. Probably the coolest software mascot ever, for one thing. Now, I want to just try to get inside your head just how big this opportunity is with mobile. There are 4 billion mobile phones worldwide. Mobile phones outnumber televisions. Mobile phones outnumber PCs. Mobile phones outnumber phones, landlines. The size of this opportunity cannot be overstated. Now, the Android portion of this is also pretty big, and we want to get you excited about this as well. Your customers, the people you want using your mobile applications, have Android phones in their hands. In February 2010, when we introduced it, there were 60,000 daily activations of Android phones. That grew in a matter of 10 months to 300,000, right? This is 5x growth in less than a year of daily Android activations. This is a platform that people are interested in. It's a platform that not only you as developers are interested in, it's a platform that customers are interested in. It's a platform that you can feel good about writing applications on because there are a lot of people out there using it. Now, as of July 2011, so 3 or 4 months ago, this number almost doubled again, and now I'm sure it is over the 600,000 point. We just haven't counted. We're better at coding than we are at counting, so our statistics are always a little bit behind. So these are daily activations of Android phones. There are 190 million devices that have been activated that run Android. From 48 manufacturers, 277 different cell phone carriers, in 137 different countries. So not only are there a lot of customers out there, they're everywhere. And every manufacturer is engaged in this. So your investment in writing Android applications will pay off. Now, there's one thing to have an Android phone. You're software developers. You're more interested in people who have Android phones who are likely to download and use your application. So we've collected some data on this too. In the first 20 months, 1 billion applications were downloaded from the Android marketplace. 1 billion. 20 months is a long time, though. Now, in the next 5 months, that doubled to 2 billion. In less than 5 months, we added the 3rd billion, and today, we're up to 8 billion. We're over 8 billion. But again, our counting is not up to date. We're too busy coding. So not only are people buying and using Android phones, they're very active in downloading and using applications as well. And this, I think, is the statistic as software developers that you all are most excited about. There are 300,000 applications in the Android marketplace. Now, that sounds both like an opportunity and a little bit intimidating. How do you get noticed in all of that? Well, you get noticed through, we're a search company, right? We should be able to make it pretty easy for customers to find your specific app. And that's what the Android marketplace is all about. A place where you can put your application with very little friction, and it's searchable, and customers can easily find your application, download it, and use it. So now we've got to the point where people have Android phones, they're very active in the marketplace, they're downloading your application. We also like to make applications easier to download. You don't just have to download it shop from your phone. You can sit in the comfort of your living room. So we now have a desktop version, a desktop version, a laptop version of the Android marketplace, so they can shop in the comfort of their own home from their PC. And monetization. If you want to build a business off of this, lots of people just develop applications for fun, I suppose. I'm American, you're Israeli. We tend to make profit off of the things that we do, don't we? We could admit it, it's just us. So people are buying the Android applications, and as we introduce new payment methods, and one that we've introduced recently is in-app billing. So even after you've paid for an application, you can add on features for cost. You can buy virtual goods for cost. And as we add new billing features, it turns out people use them. And so the monetization possibilities, the ability to build a business off of your innovation, is quite real. Now, as we innovate on the platform, we're finding more and more people are signing up for the platforms. And people tend to use the latest version of Google platforms. So, Honeycomb users outnumber Gingerbread users, which outnumber all the other older versions of the operating system. And today we're going to be talking about a newer version of Android called Ice Cream Sandwich. It's Google. We name things after food. Food's an important part of our culture. So that spills over into our product names as well. So not only are the users flocking to our platform, they are updating and upgrading to the latest and greatest versions, so that the features that you hear about today in Ice Cream Sandwich, you can rest assured that many, many, many customers are using this. Now, we've got a bunch of different versions of this, but today we're announcing Ice Cream Sandwich. And I'm going to bring up my friend, thank you, Richard Hyndman. And Richard is going to show some of the new features that we have in Ice Cream Sandwich. And we're going to be demoing live from machines here that are hooked through HDMI cables to display for you. And now this is demos. These are live demos. None of this is scripted. This is not slideware. These are pieces of hardware hooked into wires through these projectors. It might not work. And if it doesn't, it'll be my fault. Richard, welcome.
Thank you very much. Wow. Hello, droids and droidettes of Israel. I'm going to start by saying you guys are awesome. Since the start of Android, since before the start of Android, you have been making some of the most amazing and innovative applications on the Android market. And today, as James said, we're going to talk about Ice Cream Sandwich. Now, I know that some of you have heard about Ice Cream Sandwich and the Galaxy Nexus. And here we have a couple of Galaxy Nexuses hooked up to the screens behind me. So whenever I touch the device, you'll see the little white dot appear. There you go. So, Ice Cream Sandwich. At the heart of Ice Cream Sandwich are people. So let's take a look at the people application on Ice Cream Sandwich. In the center tab is my list of contacts. And right at the very top of that list of contacts is myself, to make it easy to find my details and share it with other people. And as I swipe around, if I swipe to the right, you can see my favorite contacts. Here they are. Look at that. It's glorious. These pictures are high-definition pictures, and they look amazing on the Galaxy Nexus. Let's tap into Nick. Going into Nick's contact, as I scroll down, you can see the different ways that I'm connected to Nick. And this is an API that you as developers have access to. So Twitter appears here, LinkedIn appears here, and your applications can appear directly in the contact of your contacts. And if I swipe to the right again, you get an aggregated stream of that contact's social activities across all of his networks. It's beautiful. So going back, we can swipe back across to our contacts list, and on the contacts list, you'll see this list of pictures down the right-hand side. These pictures appear all over Ice Cream Sandwich. They're in the Gmail app, they're in messaging, they can be in your applications as well. And if you touch one of them, a quick contact card will appear. Again, these quick contact cards, they're synchronizing with your networks to get these high-resolution graphics. It's not me uploading these graphics to the cards. All these cards pull in the graphics from the networks, and we can look through again by swiping how I'm connected to Tim. So one of the next really nice things about Ice Cream Sandwich is sharing. We all love to share, and sharing's been really improved in Ice Cream Sandwich. We've made it really simple. Let's go back to Tim's contact here on phone A in the middle. Phone B is sat on the screens either side. If I want to share Tim's contact from the first phone to the second phone, I just touch them together. And you'll see it says touch to beam. If I decide I want to, I touch that, and Tim's contact gets sent to the other phone. That's it. The contact is shared, just like that. Thank you. Cool. So this sharing is called Android Beam. And again, it's an API that you can use in your applications. And there's going to be more about that in the What's New and Important in Android talk after the keynote. And the sharing, of course, we've built it into our applications. It's in the YouTube app. It's in Maps. Let's have a look. If we go into a map, we can see where we are here, wherever it is. You want to say, I'm going to meet you at this location. You touch the phones together. The Android Beam screen appears. I touch it again. I didn't get there in time because I was talking. Touch the phones together. Give them a shake. Shake it off. Let the NFC magic work. Touch the phones together. The Android, get it quickly. Did it go? Oh, come on. Demos? It's easier than this. Like the second phone, this is demo hardware as well. The second phone's NFC has gone a bit freaky. Let's try the whole thing again. Let's quit out and go back to maps one more time. Okay, there's a map here. It's really easy to share this map. All you do, you just touch the phones together. The Android beam appears, you touch it, and the same map. That's just persistence. The same map appears in the same location on the other device. It happens for places, cards, and other things as well. It's absolutely fantastic. And as I've been saying along, these are APIs for you to use. But if you don't have time, or you've chosen not to use this API, maybe I'm playing a game here. Let's open Minecraft. So I'm playing Minecraft on my phone, and my friend comes along, he looks over my shoulder and says, "That's an amazing game. Where did you get that from?" I get the two phones, touch them together. The default action for Android Beam is to take the user directly into the Android market where they can get your application. So you can choose, you can implement the APIs, and when you touch the phones together, you can share data, you can set up connections between them. But if they don't have the app installed, or you haven't implemented the APIs, the default action takes the user straight to the market to download your app and grow your user base. So one more quick demo. James, do you fancy coming over here and trying to unlock my phone? There's a great thing about Ice Cream Sandwich. Your phone knows your face now. So if I unlock the phone, it's going to come up.
I get to keep it if it.
Oh, it couldn't recognize your face. You want to try again? You want to try again? Okay. Let's unlock it. Lock it up again.
My name is Richard. My name is Richard. Richard.
Oh, sorry.
I don't get to keep it.
Okay, but of course, the final demo that's bound to work. Straight in. Thank you very much. It's Ice Cream Sandwich. Cheers, James.
Thank you, Richard. Very nice. So we agonized over which demos to show during Android because there's so many new features to Ice Cream Sandwich that we think you'll be interested in. So this was the one we chose. There's a lot more. And there's an entire track today on Android in this room. And if you're an Android developer, I encourage you to attend as many of those talks as you can. So that's Android. Let's move on to another Google platform that we are quite proud of, Chrome. Do we have Chrome users in the crowd? Oh, I love Israel. Actually, I loved it before I knew you all were Chrome users because I jogged on the beach yesterday. What a beautiful place you guys live in. So let's talk a little bit about Chrome. Now, Chrome is one of a set of modern browsers. Now, not everyone raised their hand when I said, do you use Chrome? There are other modern browsers out there. And what we mean by a modern browser is basically browsers that will run HTML5. The idea behind standardizations, behind modern browsers, is the fact that you can write your application and it'll run in any modern browser. There's a lot of modern browsers out there. 2/3 of the market are modern browsers. So again, you can write your applications with confidence that users are actually going to be able to run them. Now, from a Chrome point of view, which is our preferred modern browser, there are 200 million users of Chrome worldwide, and you see the growth of this curve. It's continuing to grow. So, you know, Chrome from back in December 2008, when we started rolling it out, to now, it has received just stunning growth. And it's not going to be too long until perhaps there'll be more announcements about where it actually exists in the pecking order. But we're quite proud of this. The applications that run in Chrome and are available through the Chrome Web Store are very rich and diverse and wonderful. I don't know if you've seen any of these applications, but we put a few up for you all to go and check out and see what in-browser, HTML5, CSS3, the full power of this platform can actually show you. Now, the growth in browsers has been incredibly rapid, and the feature development of browsers is picking up pace. You know, if you think about browsers even a few years ago, you know, you look at this graphic and you see back from 1990 and on, the actual progression of the field was quite slow. Browsers were meant to browse, and they didn't really have a lot of application possibilities. They weren't really meant to be a platform. They were meant to be an application that grew over time. But if you look at the right side of this chart, the innovation is increasing. And I think as software developers, you should expect more from browsers in the very near future because this is accelerating. The amount of innovation that we're doing on the platform and the amount of innovation that you can take advantage of as software developers is really rapidly growing. We're going to show you some, I think, incredibly awesome features of the latest version of Chrome for you guys to check out. And for that, I'm going to bring up another developer advocate. Ido, are you here? There you are. Ido Green, who I think you actually are going to do this in Hebrew, right? Yeah. So you're not an American.
שלום לכולם, עידו גרין, אני Developer Advocate לקרום OS. אני מבקר פה עכשיו ממאונטן ויו. תודה רבה לכל מי שבא. כל מי שאוהב את ה-Open Web, Open Source, מוזמן להרים את היד, מי שלא יכול לצאת בשקט אחר כך. בואו ונראה כמה מהדברים היפים שהכנו לכם. הדמו הראשון הוא של עופר וולד, אפשר בהחלט למחוא לו כפיים. Scalable Vector Graphics. היום בבראוזר יש לנו יכולות מאוד מאוד יפות לבוא ולעשות דברים מאוד מורכבים בגרפיקות. כמו ששמענו קודם, ב-HTML5 היום יש לנו די הרבה יכולות שבעצם לוקחות ומטשטשות את הגבול בין דסקטופ או נייטיב אפס לווב אפס. היום אנחנו בדמו פה נתמקד בכמה מהדברים החיצוניים כמו CSS3 Animation, Transition, נראה קצת איך אפשר לעשות דברים ב-WebGL וב-JavaScript Libraries שמקנות יכולות מאוד מרשימות ל-Developers. אחר כך בסשנים נוכל לראות דברים עמוקים יותר שנמצאים בעצם ב-Backend אם תרצו, כמו Offline Capabilities, Orientation, Notification ודברים אחרים. אז הדמו הזה עברנו, זה קורה היום בבראוזר, מי שמכיר אותי יודע שאני מאוד אוהב מכוניות, זה הכל ב-WebGL עם JavaScript Library שנקרא 3GS, אפשר לעבור פה קצת מצלמות, ואחד מהדברים היפים פה שבעצם אנחנו מדברים עם ה-GPU באופן ישיר, ואנחנו משתמשים ב-Hardware Acceleration שהבראוזר נותן לנו. עד לא מזמן דברים כאלה היו קשים מאוד למימוש בבראוזר עצמו. מי לא אוהב את הדמו המדהים עם המים? אני מתאר לעצמי שאת הדמו עם הדגים ראיתם, אז פה יש כמה וכמה דברים שמקנים לנו יכולות מאוד מרשימות בבראוזר עצמו, ומרב הבראוזרים המודרניים תומכים ב-WebGL. כמו שאמרתי קודם, כל הפונקציונליות בעצם ניתנת לכם דרך JavaScript API שהוא מאוד נוח וקל למימוש. CSS Transition, בעצם אחד מהדרכים היפות והפשוטות להגיד לבראוזר מה אנחנו רוצים. הרבה מאוד דברים היו ניתנים לעשייה בעבר על ידי Polyfills, על ידי JavaScript Libraries שיכלו לתת לנו יכולות כאלה ואחרות, אבל היום הדרך בעצם הנכונה יותר לעשות את הדברים הללו היא להשתמש ב-API'ים החדשים שבעצם מקנים יכולת להגיד לבראוזר בדיוק מה אנחנו רוצים שהוא יעשה. אז ה-CSS Transition פה, שנותן לנו גם ב-2D וגם ב-3D, בעצם בא להחליף הרבה מאוד קוד שפעם בעבר מפתחי ווב היו צריכים לעשות דרך JavaScript. ככה ייראה הבוקשלף העתידי שלנו. ניתן ללכת, עוד פעם זה מוצר של WebGL שנותן לנו בעצם יכולת מאוד יפה לבוא ולראות, לקנות. זה אתמול עשיתי בלילה, אז אפשר... לסיום, זה דמו קטן שנמצא ב-HTML5 Rock ואני ממליץ ללכת ולראות את הקוד. אנחנו משתמשים בו ב-CSS Animation עם מעט מאוד JavaScript שבעצם מבצע את כל הפעולה. מאוד מרשים לראות איך הדברים האלה נעשים ואתם מוזמנים ליישם את זה בווב-אפ שלכם. תודה.
This HTML5, it's all inside the browser. We're able to do things inside the browser at blazing fast speeds with very good security story that used to take lots of different plugins and lots of different client-side technologies to be able to do. There's more. There's 3D graphics, there's offline APIs, there's device access APIs. That many of these are very new that you're going to hear about today. There's also video APIs, audio APIs, picture APIs, and communications APIs that you can take advantage of as well to add these incredibly cool features to your web applications. And more. So now, what's the Chrome story for selling these things? Well, again, we have a web store, the Chrome web store, that that has been out for a while and we want to talk about. It is a very nice, it's a beautiful way to get your application seen by lots of different users. The web store has been quite active. Whoops, sorry. And it's available for use now. So you can, and of course this is a search company, so it's highly searchable, easy to discover your amazing applications. Now we're going to move to App Engine. Do we have any App Engine developers in the audience? Oh, wow, I would have liked to have seen more. The people who didn't raise their hands, you're going to be quite happy to see what we've got in store for in our entire cloud division at Google. So this is the icon for App Engine. If you're not familiar with App Engine solves a lot of the problems that you don't want to solve as a software developer. As a software developer, I know I want to write code. I want to get my mind around my application. I want to build features for my application. I don't want to have to take care of provisioning machines. I don't want to have to worry about, well, what if my application's successful and I go from 10 users to 100 users to 10 million users? I don't want to have to think about those things. I want to be able to think about just my application and put my entire mind into it. That's the idea behind App Engine. Make applications easy to build, make them easy to manage, and easy to scale, so that developers can write code and not worry about environment variables on the server, and configuring the server, and provisioning the server. Forget about the server. The server's in the cloud. We do it for you. App Engine does it for you. You can concentrate on writing the actual functional code that your users will fall in love with. So App Engine is big. Just because a lot of you all aren't using it doesn't mean it's not in prevalent use out there. 200,000 applications are written and hosted by App Engine. There's over 100,000 active developers using App Engine today, and there are 2 billion daily page views of App Engine apps. 2 billion. Even by Google scale, this is huge. This is rivaling search page views worldwide. This is rivaling the display ads worldwide. So it's not some minor technology of Google's. This is major stuff. Now, App Engine historically grew up from sort of a gaming pedigree. Lots of games have been written and are hosted using App Engine. That's changing, and particularly with mobile now, the combination of a handheld Android device with a cloud backend, a Google Cloud backend, we're seeing more and more of these stories built now, so that you can put native code on your Android device that accesses our cloud backend services, and we can do a lot of stuff in the cloud at speed that your device would struggle with. So it's the combination of mobile with a cloud backend that we're finding very, very powerful. And then the other trend that we're seeing in our App Engine apps is commerce, real enterprise being done in App Engine. One of the reasons this is picking up is because we're announcing today that App Engine is out of the beta stage and is now fully supported by Google. We have service level, thank you very much. It's out of preview. We are fully supporting it. You can depend on it for games. You can depend on it for commerce. You can depend on it for enterprise. You can depend on the cloud backend for mobile applications. Now, that's not all we're doing in cloud. Big data is a problem that Google has been solving internally for a long time. We have lots of data, and we have lots of APIs that operate on big data, like MapReduce, et cetera, technologies. We're making these available now, too, to external developers. So we call this Google Cloud Storage. We're talking terabytes and terabytes of data that we can store and manage for you. Now, terabytes and terabytes of data is great, But if you can't learn anything from this data, if you can't get any actual information from this data, it's not all that good. So we are now publishing prediction APIs, machine learning backends that go through and figure your data out for you. And of course, you can code to these. There are APIs that allow you to dig into your data in new and interesting ways and find out things that you couldn't find out before because we've published these. These are things that we've been using internally in Google for many, many years and are now public. And then also, we have a relational database in the cloud now, Google Cloud SQL. So if your data is very structured in a relational way, you can put it right into our cloud and do everything that you could do with SQL before. So that's App Engine. And I hope that you guys will take a serious look at the App Engine track too. We have an entire day of showing you what these APIs are, how to use them, and just how easy it is to build and host applications in the cloud. So we've been through 3 of the platforms that we're going to talk about today. There's one more to go. We've talked about Android, we've talked about Chrome, we've talked about cloud, and the next one is you, social. So everyone's used to Google being a great search engine. Imagine a Google search engine that knows who you are, that knows your interests. It knows the things you like and dislike. Imagine the power of a search engine that not only knows the web, but knows you and knows your devices. This is the power of Google plus you. This is the power of social. Now, we believe that sharing and social is broken on the web until now. We believe that sharing on the web should be much like sharing in real life, that you have groups of friends that you're willing to share certain things with, and other groups of acquaintances you're not so willing to share with. We call these circles. Do we have Google Plus users in the audience? Very nice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to applaud you all on that one. Thank you. So you're probably familiar with the circles feature. Another feature of Google Plus is Hangouts. The ability to do real-time Hangouts with video. How many people have been invited to or started Hangouts and done this? This stuff works. Right? It works globally, and there's some really cool features to this particular feature of Google Plus. And plus mobile. All of this stuff can be done on your phone. So you can have Hangouts wherever you are. You don't have to go back to your desktop computer. Everything that you can do on the web, everything that you can do on your laptop, you can also do on your mobile. And of course, there are APIs to support all of these things. Now, we're announcing today what we call Plus Pages, the ability to have a business presence in Google+, the ability to have a brand in Google+. And already we're seeing some pretty major brands come online and display their identity, their web identity through Google+. So we call this Plus Pages. Now, there are APIs for every single one of these things that I just showed you. So from a developer point of view, you guys should sign up for Google+, first of all. It's now publicly available. And play around with it. And everything you see through the UI, you can think of ways to integrate those things into the applications that you're writing. Because we do have a full-fledged platform for this. There are 3 ways that you can interact with Google+. You can interact through plugins, you can interact through APIs, and you can interact through extensions. So plugins, by far the most popular one is the +1 button. You've probably seen +1 button on search pages. You've probably seen +1 buttons on ads, +1 buttons in sites. We're going to talk about how you do all of those things in a track session on social. And there's also other things besides just the +1 button that we have as integration points for developers. But I'm not going to steal that thunder. You can see those in the track talks. From an API point of view, we have a number of different integration points. All of our APIs are built on open standards. They're all RESTful APIs. They all return JSON. fully implemented OAuth 2 stack. And we have lots of different clients for this: Java, Python, Ruby. And so this is ready for development today. And we're introducing new APIs at about a rate of every 12 or so days. And we're going to be introducing Photos APIs and Plus Pages APIs are already in trusted tester mode and are going to be made public pretty soon. And then the third extension point, the third integration point we have for developers are extensions. And for extensions, we're going to have a demo. And we have badass developer advocate Jonathan Berry to show us what this is all about.
All right, are we good? Fantastic. Welcome, everyone. So we had a survey of people doing Hangouts. I just want to take another survey. How many people have done a Hangout in work with business partners, your fellow developers? Great. How many people have done a Hangout while drinking? I'm going to put 2 hands up. I hope you're not doing them both together. That's a problem. So James just introduced a bunch of popular features in Google+ and what's the core of the DNA, but by far, Hangouts is the breakout feature that people love the most. And when we launched Hangouts, we introduced a slew of built-in applications like a shared YouTube experience, Google Docs, shared desktops. But as developers, what's most exciting is our Hangout apps, which is now in developer preview. When we say a Hangout app, it's an HTML, JavaScript, CSS widget that you develop and deploy into our servers that gets included into the Hangout experience. So I'm actually going to start a Hangout app that we've developed for this demo, and I'm going to share it with a colleague so he can share in the experience. And of course, I'm going to use Google+ to share that with him because he's here today. Come hang out. During the developer preview, it's not available for regular users, so you have to add trusted testers and developers to engage in the application, but once you do that, it's easy to engage. So the first thing you notice about Hangout apps for people who've done it, we have the sandboxed environment. It's signified with the red marking that's quite scary, but otherwise it's a normal Hangout experience. And like a normal Hangout, I got to check my hair, make sure the mic works. And then once I launch that Hangout, I'm taken right into that application. If anybody's been in a Hangout that does not have a participant in it, and you're just all alone, you'll see a sad robot. So we decided for this demo, we're going to throw the sad robot a party to cheer him up. So I'm going to jump into this Hangout and get the party started. Oh, so there's Ade, somewhere in this building. Ade, wave.
Hiya.
And there's the sad party robot. So to make a party, got to get ready for it. So I'm going to pick myself a nice, fun robot and join Ade. Now, the first thing you'll notice is the robot's head moving with my voice. And as I speak, his head moves. And that's because through the Hangout API, I'm able to access hardware features of the Hangout and synchronize, Ade, go easy on that beer. I can synchronize the conversation and create a callback listener that hooks into and animates that robot. The API is an event-driven API, and we have a bunch of events that you can tap into for asynchronous behavior, which is really powerful for things like games. Now, you notice that as Ade's walking around, he's moving on screen. He's actually moving around on his own screen. And to see that, we have a debugger mode that synchronizes in real time. We have a shared state model that's really easy to integrate. It's about 2 lines of JavaScript to enable this interaction. And you can do anything with this because it's just a simple JSON data store. And so it is a party. Might as well start the music now, because robots love to dance. We call this the Hangout dance. You guys ever in a Hangout want to do it? And of course, this is Israel, so we gotta have some food. And what better food for Israel, an Israeli party, than falafel? later today, we'll be having a talk on how to build apps like this and for your own applications. Thank you very much.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, all of this is available if you go to developers.google.com/plus. You can take a look at our documentation for these APIs. And you can add your customers to your applications like we're adding you guys to Google. So now, I hope that you have seen the future through all of this. We have provided 4 building blocks for you guys through Chrome, Android, social, and cloud. 4 building blocks for you guys to invent the next generation of your applications. These are capabilities that have been unheard of in the past. There is a future out there. It's going to be an incredible future, but it's not our future, it's your future. We're providing the building blocks, and we can't wait to see what applications you all construct. There are demos of some things that I think you'll find pretty amazing in the expo area, so make sure you visit all of those places. And there's also tracks for each one of these 4 things, and anybody that has a shirt like this, grab them and talk to them and ask them questions and challenge them. We only invited the smart Googlers here. So they should be able to answer any question that you can have about these. And go to the sessions and engage with these guys. We were brought the people who were building the building blocks that you guys are going to be writing applications on. And then the last thing is keep in touch. Tell us what you're doing with these things. You know, there's good documentation out there, and on these websites there's ways to contact us with your feedback, because we want to know what direction that you guys want us to take with the platform so that you guys can create magic for your customers and through your applications. So thank you very much.